My name is Andrew. This is Rogue Wrenching. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Today we've got something a little bit out of the ordinary for you. We're going to be reviewing a school, specifically a technical school, where people go to learn, how to be an automotive or diesel technician. Today's topic is brought to us by a YouTube user. It's Pendaz, and I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing your username wrong, but that's just kind of how I read it. Anyway, as you can see there, he was asking about this school, University of Northern Ohio. Now, prior to this comment, I had never so much as heard of the University of Northern Ohio. So I decided to do some research, which brings us to the meme of the day. Now, this is the meme that I posted in one of the groups that I'm in on Facebook to try to gather some information because I really wanted to talk to people that had actually attended the school, and I really wanted to be able to give the best advice possible for this young person that is considering getting into the field. So I went and I talked to a bunch of people. I probably interacted with about 50 to 60 different people online, talking about their experiences at UNOH. And then kind of, the biggest question that I asked was, do you think it was worth the money? And did it set you up well in terms of your career and your long-term success? The general consensus is yes, it is worth the money and it does set you up well for long-term success. So I was curious what the program actually cost. So I reached out to UNOH and asked them one simple thing. I said, don't send me anything. I don't want your information packet or anything like that. I just want to know what the automotive program costs, because I don't want to be feeding you guys bad information. I want to give you the most accurate information possible. So I decided to reach out directly to the source. So what did they do? Well, they spent $8.85 mailing me a packet. So we're going to open it up, take a look at it, and see if there's anything new inside this packet that we should know about. So I haven't opened this yet. I've been saving it for the video. So here we go. Let's tear in. Let's see what kind of goodies they sent us. Ooh. Oh, it's fancy. The University of Northern Ohio. Ooh. The sticker right here is Trey Becker. He's the guy who reached out to me, and actually he was super helpful. He left me a voicemail and was like, hey dude, you can text me, which works really well for me because I'm a busy guy and I have work. So I was able to text back and forth with Trey. He was super helpful. Trey, if you're watching this, dude, you're awesome. Thank you for this, really appreciate it. Anyways, Trey was super awesome and helped answer a couple of questions, and I was like, hey, this is my one question that I have, and he was like, oh dude, here's all the information you need. Super awesome. So my experience with UNH so far is that their admissions department is top notch. And obviously they're a for-profit institution. So they're in it for the money. They want you to come to school so that they can make money on you. So like it is kind of in their best interest to, help bring people in. But my experience, at least up until this point, has been fantastic with them. Super professional. Definitely, had the answers to my question, didn't delay in getting back to me. So I super appreciate that coming from UNOH admissions department. So the big question is, wow, good golly, there's a lot of things, and here, this is what we really care about. Lots of good information here in this packet. So here's kind of the skinny. Oh, good golly. There's a lot in here. A note from our president. Well, you guys are great, but you need a better picture of your president. Alrighty. So apparently, UNOH was founded in 1990. Here you can see a really cool picture of a bunch of people standing in it, making the number 100, which is cool because I guess they've been around for 100 years, which that's cool. So props to you guys for that. I could read this to you guys, but really there's not really a point to reading a handbook. And if you're seriously interested in UNOH, reach out. They'll get this out to you like really quick. I mean, I think I sent my initial email about a week ago, got this a week later. So super prompt, super quick. If you're interested, these guys can definitely hook you up with more information. So the biggest question that I had was just strictly the automotive program. And that's kind of what I'm trying to compare to. I'd like to compare apples to apples. Now, to be fair, for my last UTI video, I did not go through this much effort to research and get all the information. So there may be a follow-up video on UTI coming up in the near future. If that's something that you might be interested in, smash that subscribe button. Okay, so when you're looking at UNOH, and specifically the automotive program, there are a couple of different options that you can go. There is their diploma program where they basically give you a certificate saying, hey, you completed this course, good for you, you know some stuff. The other one is an actual associate's degree. Now, as someone who works in this industry, I have friends that own shops, I have friends that hire people in this industry, and I will tell you that having an associate's degree versus a diploma makes zero difference whatsoever. It does not matter going forward in your career. So is it worth the extra, where's it here? Is it worth the extra $6,000 in 4 months to get that associate's degree? The answer is absolutely not. In my opinion, again, this is my opinion based on my experience in the industry. And my experience tells me that having a degree versus knowing what you're doing, people care, and your future employers will care that you're able to do the job well. They don't really care if you have a piece of paper that says, hey, you have a degree instead of a diploma. So that's not really something that's, in my opinion, worth spending the money on. Just their basic automotive program costs, we're looking here at $21,440 to complete their program. Now, one of the things that I found when I was researching UNOH specifically is there were a number of people that started at UNOH and did not finish UNOH, not because they couldn't finish school or because the program was bad, but because the program was so good, they were able to get a high-paying job before finishing school. So to complete the diploma program, $21,440 to complete the diploma program, but depending on your skill level and where you're at, you may be able to get started in this field well before actually completing the program. So don't necessarily assume because you started here, this is where you have to finish. Now, again, there's gonna be a lot of advantages to completing the whole curriculum. It's gonna give you a more well-rounded education. So I'm not necessarily advocating for not completing school, especially not a technical school, something like this. But just something to consider is that you don't necessarily have to finish every box in order to get a job. The biggest thing that I advocate for on this channel and really in my personal life especially is responsibility with personal finance. And that means not going into tremendous amounts of debt to get an education so that you can make a living. For me personally, I didn't go to school. So I learned on the job. I've taken courses over the years, but I never attended a formal 2-year program or whatever to get an education to do this job. I simply started with experience and took every opportunity to take a class along the way, and I've been very successful and done very well for myself. Now, that being said, I grew up on a farm. I grew up around mechanical implements, devices. I was rebuilding lawnmowers when I was 12. So I grew up around wrenches. So it's a little bit different if you're coming in with little to no experience and you're like, man, I want to get my foot in the door. My research and what I have concluded about UNOH is one of the top schools in the country. And not by like a little bit, but by like a lot. The general complaint is the town that it's in. Lima, Ohio, from what I've heard, I've never visited. I don't want to knock anybody that lives there. From what I've heard, Lima, Ohio is maybe not the greatest place in the world. And I think that really is a lot of perception. That's not necessarily, I guess, that may be different for different people, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And what I might enjoy about a small town and kind of that, more kind of rough, backwoods, redneck type of, community, I might enjoy that more than some other people might. So, the town is one of the big considerations with this school. Now, again, you want to go to UTI in, Avondale in Arizona, you're going to pay a whole lot more for, based on what I've found, a lower quality education. Now, another important note when talking about education, specifically technical education, is you really do get out what you put in. So if you come in with a, kind of a mediocre attitude, that's not going to set you up well for success down the road. You've got to come in with a good, positive attitude where you're willing to learn and don't allow yourself to become arrogant, especially in this field, because The nature of auto repair is just the moment you think you've got this thing licked and you just know exactly what you're doing and you are good to go, something comes up and just absolutely smacks you across the face and puts you back in your place. So don't allow yourself to be, prideful as you approach schooling, especially. There's just a lot of getting a job in this industry, keeping a job, being well paid, going to school. A lot of it depends on your attitude. So you've got to go in with the right attitude, and that is, I'm here to learn and I want to learn as much as I can. My understanding from everybody that I've talked to in the literature that I've read is that UNOH instructors are absolutely top of the line. So I guess to summarize and in conclusion, is UNOH worth the money? The answer that I have gathered from every single person that I have talked to that has attended UNOH is yes, it is worth the money. My personal caveat to that is it is only worth the money if you can afford it. And when I say afford it, I mean, can you cash flow it? Can you pay cash for it? If you have to finance it, I would say no, you cannot afford it. Now that's my personal opinion. You don't necessarily have to listen to me. I mean, who cares? I'm a guy on the internet. Who cares what I say? But if you can afford the schooling, the $21,440, if you can afford that, this is an excellent starting place, an excellent place to start your automotive career. They have a lot of other different accessory programs that you can tack on. Depending on what you plan on doing or what the job market is in your area is going to really decide whether or not you should add extra stuff to it or not. Automotive high performance. From what I understand is their automotive high performance is absolutely the best in the nation, and it's fantastic and phenomenal. Personally, I don't work in the automotive performance world. I work in everyday stuff, and what I do is more of let's make it run long. Let's make it go as long as it possibly can. So high performance is not really something that I'm into. So for me personally, in the career field and the position that I'm in, that extra cost for that extra program doesn't really do me any good. So if you're looking at other stuff like the high performance, like the diesel, there are other things that can make you more money if there's a market for it. Not everybody needs to take the diesel program. Not everybody needs to take the high performance program. And just because it's cool or it's fun, you guys have to remember how much money this stuff costs. Once you have the education, once you get some experience under your belt, it is possible to make over 6 figures a year. I don't make that much. Be cool if I did. But from what I have seen, it's not unheard of for people in this industry to make over 6 figures a year. So there's good money that can be made in this industry. You're not going to make that starting out even with graduating from UNOH or UTI or community college or any tech school. You're not going to make that money fresh out of the gate. And that's the important thing to remember, is you're going to have a couple years of making crummy. I mean, we're talking maybe $30,000 a year kind of crummy, money. And you know what? You've got to slog through it. There's some rough times starting out, but if you can get through kind of the learning curve, you can do well in this industry. You don't have to be a filthy, dirty grease monkey to be an automotive technician. It's not a requirement that you're, a dirty human being who can't think or is just a trained monkey. That's not at all what being an automotive technician is about. Being an automotive technician, especially in today's day and age, is an extremely technical line of work. There's an immense amount of technical knowledge that you have to have, and attending a school like UNOH is incredibly helpful in terms of getting you ready for the real world in dealing with very technical problems. It's important to remember that experience is incredibly valuable, and real world experience is going to trump school experience every day of the week. Now, that being said, your work experience is going to be infinitely more valuable if you have the technical book learning, the knowledge to go behind it. That makes the experience work harder for you. So there are definitely advantages to going to a tech school and getting a fundamental understanding of how things work and how to fix them, but it's not necessarily critical. So again, kind of to summarize or wrap this video up, because I've been rambling on for long enough, is the question is UNOH worth the money? The answer is yes, if you can afford it. The follow-up to that is, do you have to go to UNOH or a tech school to be successful in this industry? And the answer is absolutely not. So there's kind of the my muddying of the waters for you. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you attended UNOH, share your opinion. Tell us what if it was worth it or not worth it. And thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you are new here and you want a chance at winning $100, check out the video. I'll link it right there. You could win $100. I do all sorts of videos. I'm an automotive technician and I talk about everything. I talk about stuff, I fix stuff, I build stuff. It's really cool, really fun. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, please consider subscribing and we'll see you guys on the next one.